Persia, Iran. A land of ancient glory, royal dynasties and powerful rivalries, rising and falling over the bones of empires, all beneath the grand shadow of the Achaemenid Empire. This wasn't just any empire. At its peak, it ruled over 41% of the world's population, something no other empire has achieved since. Over centuries, many came chasing its crown: Greeks, Arabs, Turks, Afghans, and of course the Persians themselves. Some conquered, some collapsed, but only a few carved their names into its eternal story. Among them stood the legendary Cyrus the Great, a visionary who gave his people what many believe to be the world's first constitution. Then came Darius the Great, not just a conqueror but a reformer. He didn't just expand borders, he refined how the empire functioned. One of his most lasting contributions? Language. He gave structure to the court's communication, and that refined, elegant tongue came to be known as Dari. According to legend, the name Dari was inspired by Darius himself. People once called it Dariusi, meaning of Darius, which slowly evolved into Dari. It became the language of governance, culture, poetry, the very voice of the empire. As time passed and the Persian world expanded, Dari naturally branched off. In what's now Iran, the spoken form took on more modern influences and became known as Farsi. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, Dari stayed closer to its classical roots, preserving much of its original tone, grammar, and structure. Over in Central Asia, the word Tajiki became common, but at its core, it was still Dari, just with a local twist. Linguists often say that Dari is the purer version, while Farsi, especially in Iran, has evolved, absorbing flavors from Arabic, French, Russian, and Turkic tongues. But whether spoken in Kabul, Tehran, or Dushanbe, it's all the same magnificent language. And this language? It wasn't just spoken in one empire. Dari echoed through the grand halls of the Achaemenid, Parthian, and Sassanid dynasties. It flourished under the Duranis in Afghanistan and even reached the palaces of the Mughal Empire in India. In fact, Mughal emperors used Dari at their courts, writing poetry and philosophy in it. Fast forward to today, Dari is still very much alive. It goes by Farsi in Iran, Dari in Afghanistan, and Tajik in Tajikistan. Around 62 million people speak it as their mother tongue, and another 50 million know it as a second language. That's more than 100 million voices carrying a legacy that began with kings. And let's talk literature, because Dari shines here. Take the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, written by Ferdowsi. It's not just an epic. It's a cultural treasure chest, packed with over 50,000 couplets telling the story of Iran's mythic past, its heroes, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. It preserved Dari when foreign tongues threatened to silence it. Then there's Hafez, with his soulful verses on love and mysticism. Sa'di, whose wisdom shaped both East and West. Rumi, the whirling philosopher of love, whose words still make people feel seen centuries later. Omar Khayyam, who looked at the stars and wrote about the meaning of existence. And let's not forget Avicenna, the father of early medicine, who wrote his works in refined Dari, influencing generations of doctors and philosophers. Dari wasn't just about poetry, it was the language of science, logic, law, and philosophy. From Al-Farabi and Nasir al-Din al-Tusi to al-Biruni, this language carried the thoughts that shaped the medieval world. So let's be clear, Dari is not just a language, it's an identity, a legacy, a bridge across empires and centuries. It's the sound of kings and poets, scientists and lovers. It's the rhythm of the Silk Road, the whispers of scholars under candlelight, the songs of warriors and the prayers of mystics. Even today, Dari lives on in books, songs, conversations, and hearts, and it continues to inspire. Dari is the language of greatness, the voice of an empire, and the echo of a civilization that still shapes the world.
Unfiltered Afghan. Afghanistan like you've never seen, unfiltered and unbothered. Subscribe.